find you guys. Oh my God. I can tell.
Well, hello, everyone. It's lovely to meet you. My name is Heidi Biggs, and I am a certified wellness and nutrition coach and a very proud partner with the Juice Plus company. It is this call tonight is being sponsored by Juice Plus, and I'm very grateful to them. You will hear part of my story as to why. But let's get to the subject at hand. We're talking about understanding your gut flora and those little microbes that are inside and outside of our bodies and on our bodies. You see, gut health isn't just about digestion. It's also about how you're feeling with your energy, how you're feeling with your mood, how strong is your immune system, and your skin. All of those things are a direct reflection of your gut microbiome. Inside of our bodies, on top of our bodies, are trillions of tiny, teeny little microorganisms, microbes, and they are essential for influencing our health, whether that be our digestion, nutrient absorption, but mostly our immune system. Did you know, you guys, that 70%, that's 70% of our gut, of our immune system lives in our gut? That is huge. So if we're not feeding it right, guess what? It's not going to be acting right. Agreed? So it's really important to really keep those microbes in balance so that we can prevent various ailments as we move through our lives. And here we have the gut, a little bit more information. You know, it is a diverse community of microorganisms, and they're either working for you or they're working against you. And very often there can be a little war going on inside your body between the good guys and the bad guys, whether that be in our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, some other orifices I won't mention, as well as internal. And they do play a crucial role. One thing I do want to share with you guys is that I will repeat myself, but it's intentional because it's really important for that repetition, for it to really sink in. At least I know for me, that's really important for me. So not only do we have, like I say here on the slide, it says the gut-brain connection. It's not just about the gut-brain connection. I actually feel like I need to change the words on that slide, because it really is about digestion. It's about the brain. The gut connects with the brain. It connects with the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys. In fact, every system in your body is a direct reflection and is being fed by the microbes in and on your body. So it's really essential. Now, signs of imbalance can be bloating, can be gas, irregular bowel movements. And I'm going to go there, just so you know. Like, I'm going to go to that TMI place that nobody wants to hear, but just bear with me because it's all part of me. I'm just very transparent in that way. But bowel movements, fatigue, food intolerances, all of those signs, and I experienced all of those. Something array with your microbiome in your body. And then we have all of the good guys that can help support those healthy microbes. We have your fiber-rich foods, your fruits, your vegetables, and your whole grains. And then we have the fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, even sourdough bread is part of that. As well as, and then we've got the processed foods. Now that's going to really feed the bad guys. You definitely want to limit those. And we're going to talk about that a little bit further on. But all of these need to be considered because they're either going to do good in your body or they're going to cause havoc in your body. So it's really important to really listen. Also, when we talk about the gut-brain connection, you know, when you feel that gut feeling, right? If that's your gut, that is your gut talking to your brain and vice versa. They talk to each other all the time. So that gut feeling, that your intuition, very often when your gut microbes are doing their job, it's stronger than ever. That's when you really need to listen. Okay, so This is where I come and talk about my story, because 5 years ago, before all of this, I had SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. One thing I should backtrack and share is when Juice Plus came into my life, and I started taking the plant powders, I was experiencing all of these things. I was experiencing bloating, irregular bowel movements, terrible acid reflux, major fatigue, and food intolerances. And guess what, you guys? I still thought I was healthy, even though I was struggling, because what do? We just kind of get by, right? We just push through. But the bloating was so embarrassing, you guys, that at times I looked like I was about between 3 and 6 months pregnant. And I couldn't wear like the tight fitting clothes that I should have been wearing in my 40s. And it wasn't good. It was embarrassing, quite frankly. The bowel movements. Oh my gosh. When Juice Plus came into my life, I was going to the bathroom once or twice a week. Anyone else struggle with going to the bathroom? Again, I thought that was normal. I thought that was, okay, this is just what I have to deal with. This is just me. This is my norm. I know everyone else is different. But then I started taking the plant powders, and something miraculous happened that I was not expecting. I was able then to go to the bathroom every day, 2 to 4 times a day. And that is my norm. I'm going to get into something a little bit later that I was not expecting after trying a new product that I am going to be sharing with you guys. But when you're bloated and you're constipated, or if I ate honey, I would get major diarrhea. That would be awful. You get tired. You feel really fatigued. There were times I just couldn't pull myself off the couch, and I still thought I was healthy. Oh, I'm just having a moment. That's what I would say to myself. I'm just having a moment. But now I realize it was my body being depleted of a lot of nutrients, because yes, I thought my diet was healthy, and it was to a point, but it really needed improvement. Plus, what most people don't realize is that the choices that we make from years ago, very often they catch up with us later in our life. So then there comes the food intolerances. And I think this was the biggest kicker for me, because I was diagnosed with a fructose malabsorption, which meant I was put on a low FODMAP diet. When you're on a low FODMAP diet, your list of foods that you are not able to eat is really vast. It's long. And the list of foods I could eat was like this. So we would go to our friends for dinner. They'd invite us for dinner, and I'd be like, it's probably best if I bring my own. And they're like, well, what can you eat? And the list would be so small. I'd be so embarrassed that I just ended up taking my own food, because it's just too embarrassing otherwise. So it just makes me wonder, I wonder who else is in that position that I was 10 years ago. Around that same time, I also was diagnosed having 2 very rare disorders that I was born with and didn't know, and they became chronic. And they were compressions of arteries. It was very serious. They're very rare. And because of that, I had 2 major surgeries, and I now have a stent in my renal vein to keep the blood flow to my kidneys nice and fluid. And I have a prosthetic artery in my aorta and celiac artery. Your celiac artery feeds all of your organs their blood supply. So my body was really struggling at that time, as well as all this. And this had nothing to do with the symptoms that I was experiencing. And it took a year to figure it out. Well, then I didn't get a lot of good aftercare, and the doctors didn't tell me. I didn't know until I went to the dentist, and I take really good care of my teeth because, as everybody knows in England, the dentistry there is not very good at all. And I was getting my dental cleaning like a good girl twice a year. But guess what? My surgeon at UCLA did not tell me I needed to take antibiotics every time I got a dental cleaning, or I could die. Because if any bacteria came from my teeth and got in my stent or my prosthetic artery, it would cause major issues. So a few years down the line, I ended up with SIBO, partly because of the scar tissue and then the buildup of all the antibiotics that I had. It caused literally a particular storm in my body. So for the last 5 years, that's one of the reasons why I've been working on my gut microbiome. I heard a podcast and it really spoke to me. And so it was essential for me to really take care of my microbiome. And I tried probiotics, they didn't work. Well, guess why? Probiotics, unless you have prebiotic fiber, don't really do anything. And I found out recently that 2 out of 3 people that take probiotics don't feel any benefit whatsoever. Now, how can we support our microbiome naturally? Well, naturally, we can eat those fiber-rich foods like your fruits, your vegetables, and whole grains. And by the way, if you're already taking our Juice Plus products, I just want to give you a round of applause right now, because the polyphenols from fiber-rich foods like our fruits and vegetables, guys, you have no idea what they're doing inside of your gut. They are already giving your gut such good stuff. And if you, when I introduce what we've just launched, if you take that as well, guess what it's going to do? It's going to accelerate what you're doing. If you're eating those fiber-rich foods of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, it's going to accelerate that too. If you're eating fermented foods, now you might be like me, I couldn't stand fermented foods. My mom tried to give me sausages and sauerkraut, like they do in Germany years ago when I was a child. Oh, no, not happening. So when I was on my gut health journey, learned how amazing they were for gut health, and I started eating these fermented foods, it was just, I couldn't do it. But what I found was if I took a tablespoon or 2 and added it to a salad with a yummy balsamic dressing, the acidity from the balsamic dressing and the yumminess from the veggies and, whatever I had in my salad, along with the crunchiness of the cabbage from the sauerkraut, oh my God, it was so tasty. So if you don't like sauerkraut or kimchi, I encourage you to try that because it's delicious. Yogurt, I'm not a really big fan of yogurt either. I don't do dairy. But I found a really good coconut yogurt and I add it into overnight oats. Oh my God, overnight oats, you guys, amazing pre and probiotics in overnight oats. If you're not making overnight oats, I highly encourage that you do, because the yogurt, the milk, and the oats all fermenting overnight in the refrigerator, your gut's going to thank you. Sourdough bread, like I said, also is really good for your gut health. But guess what? I can now eat sauerkraut and kimchi from the jar. Why? Because the gut microbiome changed, sent messages to my brain, to my taste buds. It changes. There's a reason why we are told to feed the kids and give the kids a food, even if they don't like it, 10 times before we don't give it to them again. Because over time, it's going to help their microbiome. Limiting processed foods, and the sugars, we say, right? It's not flu season. It's not cold season. Guess what season it is? Sugar season. That's why most people get sick. I will tell you, I got sick a couple of weeks ago. Well, I can't even say I got sick. I had a mild head cold. My friend had the same head cold, lasted for 2 weeks for her. My cough was gone within 3 days. The congestion in my nasal passages was gone in 5. I think that's a win. Now, that to me is telling me I have a really good immune system and my gut microbiome is in pretty good shape. But I know why I got that in the first place, because I was eating a little bit more sugar. I've been drinking a little bit more alcohol than I should have done. At least I own it and know where it's come from. Also, staying hydrated and drinking lots of water. Now, we hear all the time to stay hydrated, but no one really shares why. Well, one, our brains need the water as well as healthy fats. Our blood, how do you think our blood is going to flow if it's dehydrated? It's going to be thick and it's going to be sludgy. And it's going to take a lot longer to move around your body and feed your cells, feed your organs. So keep that in mind when you're struggling to drink that water, and really pay attention and get it down you if you can. And then managing stress. Now, we do know stress is one of the biggest causes of disease on the planet. So if you're not meditating, just a 5-minute meditation, a guided meditation is going to do wonders. Walking out in nature is going to be absolutely amazing for you. And just see how you feel afterwards. You automatically just feel so much calmer when you've been for a walk out in the woods or on the beach or by the ocean, whatever floats your boat. Okay, so now I want to introduce to you an amazing product that has really changed my life and I wasn't expecting it to, and that is Juice Plus Super Biome. Now you may be thinking, oh, this is just another probiotic. But not all probiotics are equal. Like I said, 2 out of 3 people don't even notice a difference. The difference with this is that not only is it a 2-step system with a probiotic and a prebiotic. Well, what does that do, you might ask? Well, the probiotic are imagine that the little seeds that are going in your gut. They anchor. Now, I will tell you, not everyone gets to your gut, by the way. They don't all get there. You're swallowing them down with your 8 ounces of water, but they are going to all trickle off. But most of them will get where they need to be. But then you need something to feed those microbes, and that's where the prebiotic fiber drink that we have comes in. It's a little packet that you mix with 8 ounces of water, and it is delicious. It is, for me, it tastes a bit like a tropical lime flavor. And I sometimes wish that I didn't know that the alcohol would kill the prebiotics, because I think a shot of tequila would be delicious in there. But anyhow, but what together they do in the body is just magical. Together, they create symbiotics, which then, when they're working together in your body, create postbiotics. Postbiotics are going to help build those short-chain fatty acids like butyrate that help with your insulin resistance and blood sugar glucose levels, systemic inflammation. Polyphenols also do that you get from the fruits and vegetables. But it's also going to reduce inflammation. I just love this stuff. What I didn't realize it would do for me, because like I said, I'm going to the bathroom 2 to 4 times a day, regularly, every single day, consistently. But my poops now are huge. I said if I was going to go there, it's TMI, right? But they're so much bigger than they ever used to be. And after the 2nd week, I'm pointing like this because my husband's in the other room. After the 2nd week, I had no idea until I suddenly realized we hadn't eaten chocolate at all in that week. And every night we usually have a couple of squares. Well, I have a couple of squares of dark chocolate. My husband eats the whole bar. But we hadn't had any in an entire week. So that told me that it helped with my sugar cravings, which is incredible because I come from England. I've grown up on candy, well, sweets and sugar and milk chocolate and dark chocolate, anyhow. So that's been really magical. That's my experience. What really sets Juice Plus different and apart from other probiotics and prebiotics is most companies only have a probiotic, usually 2 strains or 2 species, whichever terminology you like to use. Our Juice Plus Super Biome has 9 different strains, and they're carefully, what's the word I'm looking for? Carefully chosen specifically to help with, they're mostly lactobacillus, and I forget the other one because it's a long name, really long name. And but they're both carefully crafted specifically for our microbiome to help with the good stuff and help fight the bad stuff. Now you can see by this chart, I hope it's clear for everyone. I know I've had an issue with the last couple of presentations with it being blurry, so give me a thumbs up if you see it clearly. Awesome, thank you. You can see we're very like miles apart from a lot of the other probiotics out there. And most of these don't have a prebiotic fiber that goes along with it. They don't have the 2 combination. And honestly, that is key and essential for optimal health in your gut microbiome. So together, they really work magic in the body. Another thing to know is that if a probiotic does have a prebiotic that goes with it, very often it's only one kind of fiber that's in that prebiotic. With Juice Plus, there is like 6 types of fiber, which makes it a little bit more gentle on your stomach. Now, by taking it, you may notice, you might get some symptoms. Some of them may not be quite so positive, but I want you to understand that it's because it's good bacteria, and you may have more of the bad bacteria in your gut. So they're at war, eventually the good bacteria is going to win. You have to kind of remember that, right? So you have to really be mindful and kind of stick with it. Yeah, you can rail it back and maybe do like half a packet or do it every other day. But if you're having symptoms, it's a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing, that it's actually working in your body. Okay, so I just want to thank everyone for watching. I would love to open it up for questions, but I do want to share that if you're watching and this speaks to you and you're resonating with anything that I say, get back with the person that invited you to this call, and they will be able to help you get started or answer your questions that you have. Thanks for joining.